Hello everybody and welcome back to Dunes of Hope. In this episode you can already see that I've been hard working in the meantime between the last video and this one because I made some connections between our buildings. As you can see, I built something like these concrete and glass tunnels to connect the buildings. I'm not quite finished with everything because it's not that easy to make those connections, and the reason why I did this off cam is because in the first video and in the second video we lost so much time, or we used so much time in building the actual buildings and the whole facility. And in this episode I finally wanted to add some animals to this, not zoo, to this project. It's not a zoo. Yeah, so the first thing that I was doing was put in some heaters in the buildings because the habitat we are going to build is in the Amazon rainforest. So we are going to add some South American animals. Yes, and you already know that the Wetland DLC, the Wetland Animal Pack I should call it, was released this week. And there were some South American animals included. So of course we are going to add them in this episode and in this project. So what I'm going to do is I wanted to have this be a mixed habitat, like I want all the habitats to be. So I'm going to add in this episode the capybara, also the it's a spectacled caiman, the spectacled caiman, and also the capuchin monkey. I say in this episode because it is quite a big habitat. We have quite some space in here, and after releasing the animals in the habitat I realized that it is huge and we have a lot of space left, so we might add some further animals in the next episode, thinking about the giant anteater or the Baird's tapir. Maybe, but definitely one or two more species. What I have done, because you might say, okay, you want the caiman, which is a carnivore, in here, and also the capybara and the capuchin monkey. The caiman is going to eat both of them. I tried to build some natural barriers so that this habitat in reality are two separate habitats. I built some natural barriers with the rocks so that we have this steep entrance into the water, so that in theory the caiman couldn't leave, could only enter the water on one side and also leave it on one side, and could not leave it on the other side where the capybara and the monkeys are. Also the capuchin monkeys don't enter the water, so there's no danger for them. The capybara sure does, but won't enter the water when the entrance to the water is too steep. So in theory this should work out. We might see it in the end of the video that I have to go back into it because at some point the water is the entrance into the water isn't steep enough so that the caiman could leave this little river that I was creating here on the wrong side, which doesn't matter because I choose the option that animals are not able to leave or to escape their habitats. So but I wanted to work out in the right way, so I'm going to make some changes to the rock work so that even if I didn't select the option, the caimans couldn't enter the side of the mammals. Yeah, and here you can already see I'm doing some plant work after I have done a lot of rock work in there. And now you see how perfect it is that we have this high roof in here, because we can use all the different plants that are in the game for the South American rainforest. There are some huge trees, or I might say some very tall trees, and there is no problem with putting them in this dome, because we still have some space left to the top of the roof. So that's pretty cool, and that makes the whole thing look very, very natural. So I was going to put down a lot of the plants in there, a lot of different plants, because that I always say, when you build some habitats, don't use that many different plants, because it doesn't look natural anymore. I guess that that doesn't count for the rainforest, because there's so many different trees and plants and flowers and bushes, and so I put in a lot of them. And I also did color the water a little bit, because I wanted to have this this Amazon feeling, this tropical feeling. So I don't want it to be this very clear and see-through water. I want it to be a little bit dirty, muddy, and look a lot more natural. Yeah, and going back to the plants, I put in really many of them, and in the end, when I was finished with putting down all these plants, I still had the feeling that I could do more, so I added some more again, and more and more and more, and more and more and more. And I still have the feeling that there could be more. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section what you think. Should I add more plants into this this beautiful building, or is it enough? Is there still something missing? Should I go in there and change some things and do a little bit more? Just let me know. You already could see, or still can see, as I'm putting down all the shrubbery and plants in here, that we have these two kind of viewing galleries on both sides. On this side here, I was planning to have the view, to have the guests viewing the capybaras, because I made this very flat, muddy and wetlandish area right here. And I also put down on in a few minutes some bedding for the animals, so that in theory the capybaras would walk over there and have a nap right in front of our guests. And also the viewing gallery on the other side, we have some riverbed kind of feeling, with, here you can see that, with some sand and with a very flat entrance into the water. That is going to be the area for the spectacled caiman. Yeah, and as I said, I want to add some more animals in there in the next episode, as we have space left. And I also want to build, or to connect, another dome to this one here, where we will have the missing animals from South America, like the jaguar and also the giant otters. And and maybe the tapir or the anteater, depends on which animals are left. And I'm also going to make this a mixed habitat. the indoor area will look a little bit different then. And I also wanted to create something that is yeah, having natural barriers in there so that you don't see any fences inside the habitat, and still the animals can't walk into the other habitat and hurt or eat or prey on the other animals. So that's what I think about doing in the next episodes, which I think might be very challenging with putting the jaguar in there, because jaguars are very good climbers and also can jump very far. So very excited for what's coming up next. Yeah, and also I have talked about the DLC for quite a while in the last episode on Arizona Adventure, but for those of you that don't watch Arizona, yeah, I'm quite interested in. Have you purchased the DLC already? Have you built with it? Have you put some animals already in your zoos? And if so, what animal is your favorite? And is there something you like about the DLC? Is there something you don't like about the DLC? I know that the animal packs are most of the times very controversial and not that well received in the past. I think, yeah, the Southeast Asian animal pack was not that well received from the community, and a lot of you guys don't like the pack at all. I think that changed a little bit with the North American animal pack, and I do hope that it changed a lot for the wetland animal pack, because I think it is amazing and we have so many great animals, and yeah, some of them that we were quite missing or longing for to have in the game. Don't want to talk about the capybara. That is definitely a favorite animal in the community, but also the Asian small-clawed otter, or which was very surprising because it is not a very common zoo animal, or I don't know if there is a zoo that actually keeps the platypus, but that is also some addition to the zoo that I'm very happy for, and which was very unexpected. Yeah, and also the red-crowned crane, which is such a great addition to every zoo. I'm thankful for every bird that we have in Planet Zoo, because there are not many of them, and I would say if you go visit a zoo, at least 40% of the animals in the zoo that you can visit are birds. Like ducks, geese, pelican, flamingos, cranes, and singing birds, and whatsoever. So yeah, so I'm very happy when we have some more birds in the game, and so the crowned crane is very much welcome. Didn't have the time to play a lot with the DLC already, and I haven't seen all the animals in one of my zoos right now. But we are going to add all of them definitely in one or the other zoo, or in every zoo. Yeah, already built a habitat for the Nile Ledgeway in Arizona. You might have seen that. And I also built a habitat for the wild water buffalo in my German series in Swamp Lake Zoo, where I built a huge pagoda and a rice field where the animals are roaming in. Yeah, and now in this episode, as I said, we are going to add the capybara and the caiman. which I was not that excited for. The caiman, not the capybara, because I think we already have a lot of crocodilians in the game. So with 2 caiman species, the alligator, the saltwater crocodile, and also the gharial, we have now 5 different crocodilians, which is quite a lot. Yeah, I really like the caiman, but I would be happier if we had another tortoise or turtle or something like that, because there are so amazing ones still left. I mean, let's talk about the snapping turtles. That would have been great for the wetland DLC, and yeah. But still, I'm quite happy with every addition that we get in the game. And to be fair, we have a lot of animals in there right now. If I think about Zoo Tycoon, I think we didn't have that many animals, and also the other zoo games from back in the days, like like Wildlife Park and other games. Zoo Tycoon 3 might have been an exception to that, because there were a lot of animals in there, but yeah, I guess not that many people played Zoo Tycoon 3. Yeah, so with that being said, I also made some information boards here on the outside of our first building, where I was planning to put down some signs for the animals, where you can see what animals are going to live in there before you enter the dome. I'm also going to add some more of that in the inside of the building. And I also want to have some more of the custom made information boards. Yeah, because I think this whole project has a lot to do with education as well, and not only saving the animals. So we definitely need a lot of education in there, so that the people that are coming into this project are getting a lot of information on the animals, because there are no more animals on planet Earth. These are the last ones that are left. So it's quite like something like Jurassic Park in there, because everything else is extinct in the wild, and you want to have a lot of information on them. Yeah, so the last step before we are going to put the animals in there is going to put down the barriers. It was a little bit difficult to connect the entrance for to connect the keeper gates to the path, because as you can see, I could put down the keeper's gate, but I couldn't connect it with the path. So that is something that I haven't thought about before building the whole thing. And so I had to find a solution for that. And I found a way to connect it, but I now have this gap in here. So I closed this gap up with some more of the plaster pieces, and I'm going to put in some guest information or some educational stuff in this gap in the next episode or in one of the future episodes, so that the whole thing here makes sense. But I think it doesn't look that bad. The gate on the other side for the capybara and the capuchin monkey was also difficult to place, but for some reason I could connect the path very much better than I could on the side of the caiman, which you might see in a second. It looks a little bit awkward, but yeah, but it does work. So you might see that right now when I connect the path, it does overlap and makes this weird curve, but yeah, it works, and that's all that matters. Yeah, and also what I did was a few minutes ago I put down some of the ambient speakers, so when our guests are walking through this building, they can hear birds and jungle sounds and something like that, so to have quite a nice experience and make it sound a little bit more realistic, as if you already were in the Amazon rainforest. And yeah, so even if we don't have any birds in there, we still can hear them. Okay, so now I have purchased the animals. Not all of them, the caiman is still left. Yeah, and now we are going to have them in our habitat and fill it with some more life. I also had to add some some animal enrichment and also some feeding spots for our animals, which was a little bit difficult for me, because I didn't want to use much of the obvious things. So I want the whole thing to look very natural. So I don't want to use something like these balls or something for the animals to play with, and I try to hide the enrichment items as much as possible and don't add too many of them, like this mud bath here, or like the big feeding platform and stuff like that. But unfortunately I had to use some of the man-made things, and yeah, as I said, I tried to keep it to use not as much as the animals would require, but so that their needs are still fulfilled, but it isn't that obvious that we have some man-made stuff in here, and keep it looking natural. Yeah, and here we are. The first animals arrived. Our capybaras moved in right now. And it's only a matter of time until the other animals are moving in as well. I was quite happy that I chose the correct depth of the water, so that the capybaras are not swimming but walking through the water. Even if I wouldn't mind them having a little swim in there, because capybaras swim very often and love to be in the water, so that would not be disturbing for me. Yeah, the caiman also moved in, and I think we're going into the real-time part right now and having a look at our beautiful new animals in this dome. With that being said, I'm going to leave you a few minutes with our animals so that you can have a look at them. Yeah, and here you can already see the caiman can leave the water on the wrong side of the habitat. So I think I might fix that. in the next episode, or do a little fixation off cam. Yeah, as I said, I'm going to leave you with the animals right now. You might want to have a look at them and look at this beautiful nature and the beautiful dome. If you liked what I built in there, just leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and I'd love to see you in the next episode when we continue to build in the Dunes of Hope. So bye guys, and take care.